Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Premier League. We are at week number 6. This is Navi versus Complexity. If this matchup was about 3 or 4 months old, this would have been a huge matchup. And I think it still is today. Complexity is a team that is invited to the International. They have been on the rise. In the month of May, they've been doing quite well, a lot better than their April. So Complexity is, of course, challenging Navi. Navi, I think, still kind of rusty. They haven't been really practicing. And look at this roster. They have 3 out of 5. Navi haven't really played with full roster for days, I feel like. I think Havos just came back from vacation. But regardless, like, this is not a Navi roster. It's just Puppy Light of Heaven, and I think that's Dendy, perhaps. And we have Essence Black as stand-in. Of course, Complexity always playing with their full roster. And hopefully they're going to bring up some crazy magic here today. Because they'll need it against Puppy.
Yeah, Honey Badger is Dindy. I did check that. I actually asked him to change his name before we started, but he did not oblige, as Dindy is very similar to a Honey Badger in that he does whatever he wants.
Yes.
So we have a really interesting match to me. I'm kind of excited. Now, Navi, they've had some problems, actually, in the last week or two. Navi is not as invincible as they were last month, basically. That said, like you said, they haven't been playing, very aggressively together. Mainly because I think they got their invite to the International and they kind of relaxed a little bit.
No, they were relaxing well before that too.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's easy to get complacent when you're dominating everybody. That happens to pretty much any pro sport. That's going to happen to teams.
It turns out that even Navi needs practicing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it's not just that, but also your focus. I mean, mentally, just being completely invested in all of your games. It's very difficult to win everything. There's a lot of very good Dota teams out there, and at some point, if you're not playing your best, you're going to lose. But I fully expect by the time the International 2 rolls around, they're going to be focused and a force to be reckoned with for sure. That said, we do have a first pick Leshrac here from Navi. They go ahead and give away the Invoker to do so. There's also a Shadow Demon in the pool, and what is the other hero that didn't get banned? We saw a Veno ban. That's not very common. I'm missing somebody.
Well, Enchantress, that's sort of.
Enchantress got banned.
No, yeah. What are we missing?
There's still a Broodmother in the pool.
Well, that's not really.
And there's, let's see, Broodmother, Enigma.
I'm pretty sure like half the viewers out there is screaming at the monitor right now.
Oh, Panda. Panda.
Panda,
the Broodmother. I don't know why, or the Brewmaster. I don't know why I called him Panda. Anyway, there's a Panda, there's a Broodmother, there's an Enigma. They go ahead and take the Enigma and the Brood. Like this combo, very powerful. Gives you big AoE, gives you a hero that can really do a lot of work on the back of that ultimate. Of course, it gives you a lot of pushing and laning presence. Against the Leshrac, it's going to be pretty decent. Leshrac's, outside of his ultimate, his AoEs are very target dependent. Like, how many targets are there for them to hit? With Broodlings and Eidolons, you can kind of counteract a number of that. But they get a Night Stalker and a Shadow Demon.
Yeah, fairly instant choice. I thought Sand King would be one of the second and third pick because they have great Sand King play. Dandy is a great one. Black can play Sand King. We saw that yesterday as well.
The Black dominated with Sand King.
Right, but they're going to go with the Night Stalker, which is one of their staple heroes. No surprise there. Shadow Demon, which isn't a surprise too much either because Disruption into Split Earth is no joke. The Purge actually is quite relevant against a melee hero in Broodmother. The Purge will go through the BKB, will purge his ultimate off, and of course make him slow as a crawling snail. Nail can't crawl, snail can. But in any case, Broodmother...
That's pretty slow.
Broodmother will be not moving in an engagement, and that wouldn't be too good if you're putting a lot of hopes into that Broodmother. Sure, you could pick up your Sand King here, and that wouldn't give you a crowner, but I think right now Navi are fairly happy with the position they are in.
Yeah, I think Complexity is going to ban Sand King on the second half. There's really not much reason for them not to. The Navi basically decided that wow, there's still Invoker in this pool. I just now realized that. So Invoker gets picked as the third here from Complexity, and Complexity's got a very powerful looking lineup right now. The problem a lot of Invokers tend to have is that they don't necessarily affect other lanes early on. It takes quite a while for Invoker to get rolling. Broodmother kind of solves that problem. Broodmother doesn't want you to do anything. Broodmother's like, go away. Just pull people off my lane. Like, Broodmother doesn't want to have anybody in her lane. She wants to be left alone as long as she can. And Invoker, very much the same vein. I just want to farm. Let me farm. I don't want to have to... Can we try and calm down a little bit? We don't want to fight too much. So if their tri-lane or if their other lane, with probably an Enigma in the jungle or something like that, ends up being, pretty powerful, This lineup could be really strong. Now, it of course extremely vulnerable to Night Stalker gangs, which is the biggest problem they're going to have. Broodmother and Invoker both, like I said, don't want to go anywhere. Night Stalker is pretty happy to go exactly where you are. So
Yeah, when you're giving that analogy, I'm like, it's cool and all Complexity don't want to fight, but Navi will take the fight to you.
Yeah,
And
Night
Night
Stalker-
Stalker, Leshrac, I mean, Leshrac will take the fight to the tower, and it's up to you to defend. Navi will be happy either way, trust me, whether you defend or not. So, Night Stalker, Leshrac already a great pushing combination. Shadow Demon adds so much hero killing potential as well. We are in the second ban phase here, and I think at this point Navi should just ban out supports or active gankers or kind of anti-pushers. Venomancer is also in the ban pool, so we were missing out a lot of like OP heroes, but
yeah, Panda's still there.
right, Panda.
Panda
I mean,
and
I feel like
and
Panda's really much a trap. I guess Complexity could still run it as the dual lane
Ooh,
top or something.
No, I don't
but
think they
it's
at all. If
not,
they did,
yeah.
they'd have to like get a Crystal Maiden and have like a Crystal Maiden Brewmaster.
That's not bad.
That seems pretty bad. I don't think it's going to be very strong, honestly. And like Panda has a lot of issues. Obviously, you can disrupt him into a Split Earth, into a Silence, and he's never going to get his ultimate off, and you just kind of remove him completely. I don't think that's going to work. Now, Navi has the benefit of already having a Veno band, and as you mentioned, they do need to kind of ban supports here. So Navi's in a pretty good position. They go ahead and ban Earthshaker as their first supportive choice. Interesting, because I would think that Navi would kind of be okay with having Earthshaker. The one issue there is, and you get Earthshaker seems like a decent lane.
Well, I
Especially
mean,
like a bottom at that.
perhaps they don't want Shaker as it's. I mean, Ty's in the pool. Perhaps they want that one. But Shaker's really good defensively, especially when you have your disruption. You have to be so precise with that Split Earth, and any amount of stuns. Even Shaker threatening to get a stun perhaps will kind of make the Leshrac turn back a little bit. So I mean that's a fair choice. And Fluff and stuff does play a really good Earth Shaker, so maybe a little bit respecting that as well.
Yeah, I mean, banning the Earthshaker makes decent sense if they want to get something like a Leviathan. I expect Complexity to ban Leviathan. The problem is Complexity also has to ban SK. They really, Navi would be stoked to pick up an SK fourth here. Obviously, that still gives them very powerful lanes, and that'd give them a lot to do. Now, Queen of Pain as well is a good hero against a hero like the Broodmother. So another nice ban from Complexity. I think they just have to ban SK as their fifth, which means that Navi knows exactly what they can do here.
Well, the thing is, would Navi have the lanes for SK? Because Night Stalker is getting a solo. Leshrac seems to be getting a solo, although he doesn't have to. And if you pick up SK here, SKs get the solo as well. So they're pretty much set.
No, SK doesn't need a solo.
Well,
SK
he's going to solo the against the Brood. Like, I've never seen a support Sand King that goes up against the Brood. That just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think you put Leshrac and Shadow Demon in the same lane and then pick a jungler. That seems quite strong to me. I mean,
And then an SK.
Yeah, that gives you quick. Split Earths. You can maybe get some nice gangs, especially if you have a jungler of some kind. Though, Fury and Chin and they actually ban SK. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm not so that they need a Sand King. I feel like, I mean, they need something against Brood. I don't know what that something is, but I don't feel like Sand King really fits their lineup.
Maybe we're gonna go for a Puck or maybe they really do want that Ravage to counteract Enigma's ultimate.
I mean, you could actually lane Tide against Brood and solo.
Yeah. Maybe they're just completely like, well, we can't pick SK and Leviathan. And contrary to that, the Complexity would seem to be okay with having an SK. It'd be pretty good on their team. So yeah, maybe that's
maybe we're gonna see a fourth pick Treant.
What? Does Treant grab all the spiderlings? It does, right?
You mean Overgrowth?
Yeah, Overgrowth.
If they're invisible, they don't grab nothing. But if they're revealed, then they grab everything. And
it keeps them. I thought it reveals invis units.
Does it?
Does it prevent them from going invisible?
It prevents them from going invis, but it doesn't reveal invis. At least I think that's how it works.
Yeah, it prevents them from going invis. I thought it pulled them out as well, but it does not pull them out. It just prevents them. Okay. Oh wow. If you go to the learn screen and then go back into the game, the heroes cycle through their animation very quickly.
Yes.
Like, everything that you didn't watch. Anyway, Beastmaster is going to be the fifth ban here from Complexity, and then we're going to see a Crystal Maiden being picked up by Navi. So I did expect Crystal Maiden to get grabbed here, but not by Navi. I thought Complexity were going to go for it, but it looks like they are not. It's going to leave them pretty kind of a dearth of supports here. They got what, a Vengeful Spirit, a Witch Doctor. There's not a whole lot.
There's a Lich.
Okay, so they go ahead and get the Lich. All right, Lich is pretty good against Night Stalker. Obviously, it limits some of his diving potential. And really, Night Stalker's the only tank hero on Navi right now. Yeah, Leshrac can get fat, but get is the ideal or the important word there. It's not necessarily ensured that he's going to be fat.
Real fast, this is really like the first time I really pay attention to a hero portrait of Lich. That's really uncomfortable.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I know.
A cold metal ring around your neck, that's really uncomfortable.
Whatever, man. I'm sure he's the Lich. Like, does he care? He's dead. He's frozen. That thing don't mean nothing to him. So we got a Weaver as the 5th pick here from Navi.
So we're going to see a J.O. Doom, right?
No bugs in this game except for Weaver. J.O. Doom? Big Doom?
Why the hell not? It fits
Doom,
perfectly.
Leshrac, Crystal Maiden, Shadow Demon. Well, the one problem that this will give them... Wait, no problems. Doom!
Yeah, man. You just Doom and then game's over. Probably for you because they pushed down your tower so quickly and Doom got no counter push.
Yeah, a little bit lacking on the counter push. I mean, Lich, Doom, Invoker.
It's got no counter push at all.
Not really known. I mean, Broodmother's counter push, kind of.
Yeah, okay.
As long as you don't kill all her spider.
As long as you don't push her lane, she got no counter push.
Yeah, no counter push. Yeah, this is... I mean, I think the Doom pick's fine here. It's not very tiny.
We're going to see that big Tiny.
There we go. Big boy Tiny. Okay, so Tiny does give decent counter push, of course,
yes.
as you can Avalanche Toss cuts down an entire creep wave very quickly. And there's no summons on Navi side. They can't just create a creep wave. I mean, they're basically very dependent upon diving into pushing. That said, this is going to be a pretty sweet matchup because there's not so much overt pushing from Navi's side. I think Complexity has a lot more of that, to be honest. So.
Well, it really depends on how quickly the Complexity squad gets off ground. I feel like they're kind of mid-game, they're kind of slow. So for the early portion, it's really Navi's game to kind of win or lose. It's their game to, they're the one that's going to take the fight, as most Navi squads would. I'm kind of curious about this Weaver pick. I really don't know what it's going to accomplish, but, waiting for Navi to let us know. Atri spam me.
Atri really wanted to get that joke off.
This is where I say cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
Ooh, TC starting out with the magic stick. Is he going jungle? That's a long running joke that
I just got what you said.
That only like 2 people would get.
Maybe 3 people on cast got that joke. Shout out to Satoshi, aka Hobbs, for being the worst jungler in the history of Dota. So, Hannah. Oh, I see. Dindy posted it on the Genie. Got it. Okay, so Hannah Montana is going to be playing that Broodmother up on that top lane. We're going to have IX Mike on the Lich, along with TC, who's been rocking that big boy Tiny up in the mid lane. On bottom, we're going to have Jo playing the Invoker. Fluff and Stuff's Enigma is going to deny the first creep on bottom, and then he's going to head into the, what I presume to be the jungle here. Meanwhile, Navi, right off the bat here, I almost called them Mouse or Virtus Pro because of those tags. And Dindy's rocking the Honey Badgers, so they don't have a tag right now. There we go. 5-man it up here, trying to find a gang in the middle. Not going to work out.
Yeah, I'm looking at Lich, I'm looking at Enigma, I'm like, dude, this is some sick trialing the 9 action, but as I'm always bugged out by that horn.
I love that horn. It's big time.
They're going to pass the Observer Ward to the bot lane, and hopefully they're going to ward a pole cam, and they definitely need to ward a pole cam, but Invoker on that long lane might be a little bit rough. But let me introduce the other lanes here. Honey Badger, Deadly is going to be playing solo mid Shadow Demon. We have not seen this flavor.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, we have Light Heaven on that Weaver going on the bot lane here. And we're going to see Puppy on that Crystal Maiden, NS on the Leshrac, and then we have Black on the Night Stalker.
Against the Broodmother top, and do they have wards? They have, yep, Leshrac does have some sentries, which means that Hannah Montana is going to have some big problems in this lane. Relatively quickly, as there's a bunch of stuns, a bunch of nuke, and a bunch of killing prowess, basically. One thing about the horn, they need to put the previous horn on top of it, so you get like this sweet horn, like chord. Imagine if there was just like 8 pitches of horn, and it was
every
just, like,
patch they add an extra horn.
Yeah, just like a wall of sound of this horn becomes this big epic thing of doom. That'd be fantastic, I think.
I think it's already pretty epic.
I'm gonna actually send a message to John M or Phenol or something and make that happen. Let's see that happen. It's an Ice Frog little message. Anyway, so yeah, this tri-lane up top, I mean, it's not necessarily a tri-lane. They can kind of gang as they want, and it look like they're going to go ahead and try and find Fluff and Stuff's Enigma here. Fluff, he's in a bad spot here. He needs to go to the right. It looks like he will be doing so, and he's going to be fine. Uh-oh, but NS very wisely comes around the backside. Oh, Fluff Fluff, this isn't
Oh,
going to
any
go well.
spells,
There's going to be a
speed
frostbite. There's going to be a splitter. And down he goes.
Alright, so
And,
I really want to point out this Observer Warp placement on the right outside of the level 1 camp. And the reason that's there, I mean, a lot of times you can see, oh, I want to shut down a jungle, so let's ward it right at the level 1 camp. But they know they could easily leave the top lane anyways, and Brumader is not going to really excel in a push right from level 1. Black's going to handle the lane fairly easily. Want to put the Observer Ward there to make Enigma think, oh yeah, man, there's nothing in the jungle. Because if there is something in the jungle, they would probably block my camp. Some reverse mind game here, so it doesn't block, it sees them, and that was a very easily set up gank right there.
Yeah, and you can kind of see where, you know, any of the three that he goes for, you can actually see, so they know where he'll be at all times and get pretty solid ganks off. Now, Fluff is trying his best. He wants to get back into that jungle. He realizes that NS and Puppy are roaming around in there. Not a combo you really want to run into the jungle, NS and Puppy. Hannah Montana, though, just trying his best to get XP. Through all of this, of course, the one lane they are winning easily is this middle lane of TC and IX Mike of the Lich and Tiny combo. It's you know, Lich doing a nice job denying XP as much as he can. It looks like maybe we're going to have a ward placement on Hannah. Nope. Actually, they've used both of them.
Complexity, Fluff and stuff is seen, and these two guys are looking for him. And that's where you see massive amount of pings. Lich does get invisibility rune, but really not going to do too much of that. It's going to reveal his invis immediately as he goes back to the deny camp. TC did expect the Shadow Demon to be solo mid, and that's why he went for the magic stick, and it's going to work out fine. He's going to get a lot of healing right now back. And I guess perhaps they scrimmed, perhaps they realized that Navi has been doing that. Haven't been really watching the latest Navi matches, so perhaps it is kind of like an ongoing trend.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's either going to be, they're either going to have a solo Leshrac, or they're going to have the Shadow Demon in the middle. I mean, yeah, you can put Night Stalker in the middle, I suppose, but a Leshrac in a aggressive lane like that, what's going to be Leshrac, Shadow Demon, Crystal Man? I mean, that's a pretty high intensive kill lane.
You could easily run a, as we see in game coming on the mid lane. Chinese going to get disrupted. He is going to run Treader on the right side to make sure he doesn't get bited or anything like that. Malphite goes on NS. Reverse Avalanche. That's going to bring him fine as we see he's going to take the third and fourth poison charge. He actually might just go down to the poison. Ooh.
Nope.
That was close.
Actually, Dindy ran out of mana, and Fluff and stuff comes down to it for a gang. The stun only does one proc, though, as it's only level 1, and yep, Dindy's going to be able to get away out of there. And in fact, bitten is the word for bited, in case you're wondering.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the English tips.
Hey, no problem, bro. Up top, Mouse through all of this, or Black rather, through all of this is getting a decent amount of free farm. He's up to level 5 now. Broodmother is just level 3 on this top lane, as all of that harass from Night Stalker and or NS and Puppy have made a lot of problems there. Meanwhile, TC not really getting a whole lot of last hits in the middle. Shadow Demon and Dindy actually doing pretty solid work in middle. They haven't actually killed him. He's a full level, or just about, no, half a level ahead of TC right now, despite there being a Lich on that lane. Looks like Puppy may go down to a Fluff, though. This will be big. They really need this kill. And looks like Puppy is going to go down. In fact, Lich comes down there and steals it.
It's fine. No big deal. I mean, Lich getting killed, it's all good. But 6 Eidolons against the Crystal Maiden is where the CM would not want to be at. But yeah, the laning, I expect the laning to be Shadow Demon Leshrac, and in which case the Shadow Demon doesn't get poisoned until much later, and the Magic Stick doesn't, you know, be that helpful. So I did expect DC to assume he knew that Navi was going to be putting the Shadow Demon mid, and he knew. So I'm kind of curious how he knew. Is it based on?
Well, I honestly isn't Leshrac going to spam a bunch in that lane as well?
CM Night Stalker dueling top isn't a bad lane, and I thought that's how they're going to lane it in the first place anyways. Or perhaps they're going to put Weaver top into CM Night Stalker bot. But in either case, it doesn't matter. That's how the laning ended up here, as we see NS going to ward Fluff out of the jungle. Drop a splitter and be like, yo bro. And then he backs off.
Yeah, through all this, TC has picked up his bottle. Just seeing tosses for last hits here, he really wants to use all those charges so that when the 6-minute rune comes, he can pick that up. Meanwhile, NS, fully aware of Fluff. Fluff cannot go anywhere. Everywhere Fluff goes, he gets followed. Now this time, it looks like maybe they're going to turn this table here, and Complexity's going to go after NS. He is going to get nuked. We're going to see an Avalanche or a Splitter. There's the Avalanche, and then Enigma's going to come in with a Malefice, and down he will go. But we see a TP in from Black, and they're going to get a kill back on Lich there, and it looks like Crystal Man comes down as well. Fluff and stuff trying to run away. There's going to be another Void. There it is, and Fluff will go down, and through all of that, TC just forced to run away, so he does not want to get caught here. Uh-oh. He does find a Puppy. If he can get this kill before she can get... Oh, no. He's unable to get the kill before she ends up getting her Frostbite off. She's going to get a Nova as well. TC... Wow.
Sick TP!
Really, I can't believe that just happened. That was almost like a taunt TP. Like, what's up? I'm going to turn back into you and then TP. Can you kill me? No, you can't. Of course you can't. And I knew that.
he literally easily ran away from that, but it makes it all the more exciting as you are being a raging, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but he
like turned back into him and then TP'd. That's such a boss nerd move. Man, shout out to Puppy.
It reminds me of StarCraft, where you're like playing Terran, you're winning the game so hard, and you just build like a command center in the natural in the final push or something. That's exactly what it meant to me. As we see Fluff and Sub trying to run here, Avalanche toss being dropped, but not enough DPS output here. As Lich in a little bit of trouble, half HP already. They want TC, they are gonna get TC, and now it looks like Lich has one down as well. We talked about this. The Dire Squad will take the fight, or the Radiant Squad will take the fight to you. And there's nothing much you can do about it.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more like dropping mules, to be honest. Now, Light of Heaven's going to go ahead and Sakuchi through the... He's going to rotate up top to go against Hannah now. Sakuchi, obviously, as you level it up, he's only got level 2 of it right now. He will be able to cut down those Spiderlings eventually. And I say eventually, and the problem there is as Dindy gets another kill on Enigma, it looks like he's going to be able to get away just fine. As Jo came over there to try and get something done, but not quite enough just yet. And the problem there is, as you Sakuchi through it a couple times, when they start to get low, Hannah's just going to run them off the lane. And you have to make a decision. You got to either on your next Sakuchi, you can run into the jungle and try and find them and leave her alone in lane, which is never a good choice, or you just don't get to accomplish anything. And you've used a lot of Sakuchis and not actually killed any Spiderlings.
Night Stalker assisting the push on the mid lane here as he drives away 2 heroes away from the tower. Leshrac doing the damage, and I think the tier 1 tower will be going down. This is more like Navi's playstyle. 8-minute tier 1 tower, a little bit slow actually, but they are going to get what they want. Of course, when you have a solo mid Shadow Demon, that Shadow Demon gets level so quickly, that could be a Fortune going to gank, everywhere. He's going to find himself in Vizrune, and someone's going to be dying, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, Night Stalker's really afforded them a lot this game. He's been moving around. We've seen a lot of really nice ganging from NS and Puppy as that Crystal Main and that Leshrac have really just created serious havoc up top for Fluff, who's still just now level 4. He's got himself a Soul Ring, so at least he has an item, but not much outside of that. Now, through all of this, Jo has been free farming at bottom. He's got his phases. He's level 8.5. He is going Quas Wex. In fact, he's got 3 in each. Quas Wex builds, oftentimes you go 3 Quas and then Max Wex. After that, one point of Exhort in there somewhere to get yourself your other cast. Now, meanwhile, Black is going to find Fluff again. Fluff very wisely TP's out. Is it going to be enough? Woo! Just barely. Just barely enough.
I'm not sure if actually Exhort or the Quas Wex Invoker is the best choice. I mean, seems like Navi says we'll leave the Invoker to farm, however you want, but we're gonna try to shut down the other 2 lane. And so far they're doing a fairly decent job at it. There's quite a bit of harass on the Broodmother, so she's not getting the best farm, which Broodmother's actually not really accustomed to not getting farm like that.
Dindy's actually getting worked on this bottom lane, and I think he's going to just barely survive on the back of a ultimate there from himself. Now, meanwhile, Jail's going to continue to maybe go for it here, as he cold snapped him and immediately just hit him to like half HP. That was pretty ridiculous. Now, I do want to mention, I think he's going Quas Wex here primarily for the Night Stalker. I think he realizes their really only way to initiate is to dive pretty aggressively, outside of the Shadow Demon, of course, which there's really not a solution for. His only real option here is to kind of Cyclone EMP, maybe shut down the Night Stalker as he's trying to get into your towers and dive your heroes. Meanwhile, Black is going to get another kill on Enigma here. This time, Hannah's going to come over. It looks like they've had enough of Black shenanigans, and they want to kill him. Now, he has a TP scroll, which is going to make it very difficult because he's just going to leave. Through all of that, they do push that top tier 1 as well, so Navi playing very well right now.
This is what Night Stalker does for a push. I mean, we say this a lot, and now we see it in action. I mean, he really just drives back the entire team by himself, and his team pushes.
He's a pushing hero that doesn't inherently push in any given way. He pushes just by playstyle. Jo, meanwhile, he's going to TP out of that bottom lane as Dindy came down there, trying his best to kill him. But through all that, he, of course, does send Jo back, so that helps him out a little bit. It's going to mean that the really only hope for Complexity right now of that Invoker is going to be nerfed just a little bit as he's forced to run back and then get back into the lane. Meanwhile, TC, their other, I guess, big hope. He's level 6 right now. Black is level 8. He's going to dive him. TC probably going to go down here. He does get his cast off, but Black is just way too tanky. Crystal Man comes in with a Nova. Perhaps Fluff. Does he have an ultimate? He's only level 4. He's not even close to level 6. We're going to see a EMP Tornado combo. Is going to catch Black. Black takes a bunch of damage. Maybe a Cold Snap next, perhaps, so he can get this Black with the Cold Snap. There is going to be the Cold Snap. He's going to get procced. Ooh, NS gets top. NS is going to go down, but through that, the actual NS of Night Stalker over there is going to get away.
Again, 2 here running around the jungle. They did lose NS. They're not going to lose anymore. But look at the top. That's slowly getting pushed in, or at least I have him getting some free farm. Shadow Demon getting a little bit of farm as well. Of course, any kill going towards Complexity, they are happy about. But they did use 4 heroes to get that 1 kill. So, not really worth it still. But again, they'll take whatever they can.
Yeah, you have to invest so many resources to really stop a Night Stalker gang like that. And if they hadn't all come, Night Stalker probably would have got a couple kills there anyway. So it was a good choice. And we're almost up to a Django on Jo. I'm just going to assume that when Jo gets fat, maybe they'll do some work. Like, I want to see a good Invoker. It's been a long time in the Premier League since we've seen an Invoker win a game. Almost all the Invokers have just lost. His win rate's got to be like 0% in the past 2 weeks.
It's like worst hero in May.
I think it may be like 0-9. I'm not kidding.
Well, that's just the Premier League matches. Perhaps in the other European tournaments, he's been winning. So SD is picking up a regeneration rune. He's looking at the top lane. Complexity wanting to put a little bit of pressure on the bot. One thing that Nightstar can't do is be all places in one. So they know that he's kind of near the top, so he's like, you know what, we'll push bot and let's see if we can get it. But here comes the TP from the Night Stalker, and Tornado's going to drop EMP on NS. Nice warning here, and JO's going to pour it out, I assume. No, he's going to just dodge it out there. So really nice play by JO.
Yeah, I mean, an EMP on Leshrac is just not something that Leshrac can afford to tank. It'll leave him with literally no mana, so he is forced to run back here. Now, Black, it is daytime, so he's going to get a little bit of farm time on bottom, which I think is kind of okay for an Night Stalker. Obviously, during the day, you want to farm, and during the night, you want to kill everything. I guess you'd like to kill everything all of the time, but sometimes that's not an option.
Look at the wording here from Complexity, though. They make sure they know where the entire Navi squad is, and that's a free kill for TC. TC quite happy about that. He's going to go for that build again. That movement speed build.
Yeah.
Drums, Phase, Yasha. That's the legit stuff.
Man, if he gets fat enough, let's be honest, there's not a hero. I mean, yeah, Light of Heaven theoretically is a big-time carry, but Light of Heaven, I mean, Weaver is not necessarily a hero that can just survive through a tiny Av combo, especially if he's holding an Ag Scepter and just beating the, living snot out of you. So I actually feel like if he gets fat, they will win this game. I don't see that actually happening. I don't think they're actually getting there.
Yeah,
it's going to be very difficult for them to get there. But if he does, they will win. So that's something.
MTW in that match let Tiny get fat, but it wasn't like MTW played perfectly. There's a lot of opportunities I felt like they could have pushed, but they didn't really push. Navi, on the other hand, I feel like they will push any opportunity they get. So, and of course, they did a fairly good job so far. 2 tier 1 towers down. They're applying pressure, and this is daytime, so Night Stalker's getting a little bit more level and items up. Shadow Demon, though, haven't been too effective, to be honest. I thought he's going to have a really good game, because he started really nicely in his lane. Unfortunately, anytime he ganked afterwards, he got really picked off. So let's see if Danny's going to give us a little bit more here.
Yeah, Dindy did start out quite well. Now he's only died the one time. It's not like he's been picked off a bunch of times. That said, he does have the phases. He's got himself a staff of wizardry or 4 staff. We're going to see an EMP combo. Not quite there yet, as Wex is just now level 5, so it's not quite to the point where it procs super fast. But that bottom tier 1 is going to go down. There's really not a whole lot they can do. I mean, if IX Mike goes anywhere near this lane, Black will be more than happy to introduce him to the Void. And he will be going down. But Complexity very wisely goes ahead and counteracts and pushes the tier 1 towers. They get one. I think Complexity really would like to trade every single tower on the map right now. Always. If they could trade all of the towers, they would do that.
If you're down, trading evenly and favorable, trading evenly is what you want. As long as you don't fall behind the trade, you're completely okay with that. Because you got no pushers. I mean, your pusher involves an Enigma, which is a decent pusher, but yeah, it's not going to be enough. But TC with a double damage rune, as well as teammates looking for that gank. They're going to run right into a Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon can self-disrupt, and he's going to get picked up, and that's it for him. Avalanche toss, he's going to go down. Night Stalker using his face boot, trying to run out. They shouldn't chase for him, and this is going to try to pour it out, but he gets Chain Frost for the mini stun. I like that. Lich went down, but he got his teammates a bit of kill and experience. I think that's a favorable trade, and they're going to push the tier 1 on the bot. Meanwhile, Brewmother applying pressure against the Weaver on top. It seems like Complexity is right back in this. They were keeping Navi down during daytime, and this is exactly what they need to do.
I mean, they're very much a mid-game team, so we would kind of expect them to win a couple of these mid-game battles. Honestly, if I'm Complexity, I'm really happy right now. 9-7, that's exactly what they want. They're getting now the bottom tier 1, and through all of this, I mean, Jo got up pretty quickly on bottom. He's already got phases. He's got a Django. It looks like he's at 1,500 gold. It looks like he's going to be going for a Yule Scepter off that Sage's Mask. Though, it could still be a 4-staff. 4-staff is still going to be pretty strong here, especially against a hero like Night Stalker. Although Yule Scepter is very good against Night Stalker as well, so not a whole lot of argument either way there. That said, he's now level 10. He's getting close to invoke level 3, of course, that all-important level 3, which really gives you a whole nother cast during a battle. And yeah, I mean, he's getting pretty fat. I mean, Quaswex build Invoker definitely can dictate a battle very well. We haven't actually seen it a lot in the past couple weeks. Almost everybody's been going Exhort Invoker. It's just been the build. You go 4 points of Quas, 4 points of Exhort, and then you max Wax after that. The thing is, all of those teams have lost, so maybe Jo knows something they don't.
Yeah, Exhort, or excuse me, Quas, Wax, and Invoker actually means quite a bit here. Weaver's one of those heroes that's very dependent on his mana pool, and he doesn't have a lot of it. So if you could EMP him, he's basically sitting ducks until level 16. Now he's getting there, and he's going to get there very soon. But, you know, it's going to be somewhat annoying for the Weaver just to time-lapse EMP because he has to have mana. Similarly for the Night Stalker, he needs mana here to do all this stuff as well. I want to really kind of ride off your point about the Yule Scepter against Night Stalker. I feel like that's one of the better choices, or better reason to get a Yule Scepter. As you see Jo kind of 1v18 there, but he's going to be fine. Do they have detection? No, they don't, so he's going to be fine. The reason that you want to get a Yule Scepter against Night Stalker is it gives you 2 outs that silence. You could Yule Scepter yourself and you remove the silence, or if Night Stalker goes on the teammate, well, you could obviously Yule Scepter him, and that would be good as well. So it's a very, very strong item choice. I like Force Staff very much as well, and he might actually go back to get both, but it makes a lot of sense that he does go for Yules here.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's going to be a Yules. I mean, he's already got the Sage's Mask, of course, as well. Meanwhile, up top, Light of Heaven comes with just do a little bit of harass on Hannah Montana. It actually gets stunned by the Centaur as the Centaur just runs out of his hiding. It's always so funny to me when a neutral creep runs out of its spot. It looks like it just runs straight to you and stuns, like it's just an enemy. It's like, what the hell, man? I was just standing out in lane. I'm over here killing creeps, and you just run out here and stun me? Like, why don't you go, like, vote for Radiant, man? That's ridiculous.
I'm fairly
clearly
annoyed.
Biased.
I'm clearly annoyed that the Centaur will Centaur will stun. Oh my god. Jo could farm like 1 billion gold right here if he just attacks those Spirelings. But no one is, and that's a little bit unfortunate. It always scares me when I see a Weaver player just send off a swarm at Spirelings, because those Spirelings could all attack the swarm and make 1 billion gold. But perhaps they didn't want to do it under the tower. But in any case, it annoys me so much that if you dominate a Centaur and you use the Stomp, there's a casting animation. But if the neutral one uses it, it's just like insta-cast. It is just insane.
Yeah, what's that about? That is annoying. Man, it's like once you rein them in, like once you make them your slave or whatever, they just don't care anymore. Like, they lose the will to try. Like, I'm not going to try that hard for you, okay? That's what it is. Maybe it's a flavor thing.
No, it's not. It's called bug.
No bugs in this game. Only Weaver. So, and the Broodmother. And that other one. Enigma has himself some treads now. It looks like he's got a headdress. Going to make himself a mecha next. IX Mike, meanwhile, just with those boots and a magic wand, magic stick, he's got himself some obs wards now as well. TC, meanwhile, has just about got to his Yasha. He's got the faces. He's got the Django. It's so weird to me to just talk about this.
If this is the first time you're seeing this, yeah, we were mind blown as well.
Yeah, okay, the first time I saw this, I too lost my mind. It was ridiculous, but here's what he's doing. He's going to get as much move speed and attack speed as he can, and then he's going to beat the living tar out of everything with just pure damage, because, I mean, Tiny has ridiculous damage already. If you buy attack speed, he's going to crush things, and that's going to be the plan here. Meanwhile, on bottom, Jo continues to AFK push this. He did go and get that Force Staff, so he does not have a Yule Scepter. An interesting choice there, but I mean, they're more than happy to trade Tier 2 for a Tier 2 right here, especially since TC can theoretically slow this down a little bit, although he's got nothing to toss right now. He needs to find a creep. Well,
the creep wave will be coming out in like 2-3 seconds. The Glyph has really slowed down that Diabolic Edict, and no, the Invoker ported back. Seems like they want to take this fight under to Tier 2. Force that forward. That is going to miss everything. The Spireling is chasing away. EMP not going to hit, and Avalanche didn't hit. A lot of spell being wasted. There's a dust on Hannah. He is going to get purged as well. Will he go down? Looks like there's an Urn on. Wow, Chain Frost plus Deathling Blast. Not going to bounce a lot, but keeping everyone back, and that's going to make Hannah to survive, and that should be it. No, they're going to turn around to go on the Invoker. Is that it? Lightning goes on Jo. It's going to go invis, but there's a ward up. Avalanche Toss gets 1 kill on the Crystal Maiden. That should be enough, right? Will Navi finally back off? Seems like they should, but they're not.
Yeah, I mean, Bucks would be very content to fight these battles with Jo's level 12 Invoker, and fair enough. If you got level 12 Invoker, take everything you can. Meanwhile, Light of Heaven's in here getting a little bit of harass on. He's got to be careful if they find vision of it. We see a tornado does miss yet again. Black, gets chased. A nice toss Abba combo there. Does take down Leshrac, as well as Dindy goes down too. And we're going to see a TP out from the Weaver, and I believe Black is going to be forced to do the same. So very nice battle there from Complexity. As they go ahead, instead of trying to trade towers, they decide, hey, wait a minute. We're the game team. We can fight you. And they bring the battle straight to Navi. It's a great effect there.
And this is not really even the peak of Complexity's power yet. We saw in that engagement, a lot of spell didn't even go according to plan. The first tornado didn't just hit one hero. The second tornado hit nothing. Chain Frost didn't really bounce. It bounced like once. So you gotta keep in mind that if you're a Complexity fan, your team has so much more depth right now. And it is mid-game, and it just barely begun. Look at that Weaver. He's got 3,400 gold. He's going for the he's definitely going for the relic, obviously. But I'm not sure how much of that thing's gonna turn around. When you're a Weaver,
Block does find Jo here in the middle. Ooh, but it looks like he's gonna go ahead and just pull out there.
When you're a Weaver and you're going up against a Tiny, like, things kind of get a little bit awkward. Like, well, you want to right click, but Tiny says, I avalanche toss you, and you did. So as Black kind of walks into 3, and I think he's going to be going down. Will he? He's actually quite tanky, but the Malefice multiple stun duration is just going to bring him down. And it's a little bit of trouble. The Spylings stalking him out. The Spylings actually apply a very small amount of slow. We're going to see a little bit of Avatos action, and NS trying to TP out perhaps. Tornado's going to find him, and he is going to whip him down.
Yeah, this Invoker from Jo is really the deal here. Because, I mean, as you mentioned earlier about them not really getting all of their spells off, if Fluff ever hits a black hole, this game is over. Like, almost instantly. There's just too much AoE. You have a Lich ultimate, you have all of Invoker spells, and on top of all of that, Tiny does ridiculous damage in a giant AoE, and on top of that, he's going to get fat as far as, like, actual attack damage goes. This is not looking good for Navi. I feel like this is a loss. I think Complexity has this relatively easily at this point.
Well, I mean, it really comes down to whether Complexity have buybacks. They're kind of quite far away from that fat Tiny. He still needs his Axtic, which is 4K, and if buybacks accounted for, that's another 1,500. So Tinys have to get quite a bit number of kills. You can see that Complexity, despite winning a lot of fights, they're not able to get too much accomplished. All the tier 2s on Navi are still up. The Roshan is still up, and they didn't even make an attempt to go into the Roche Pit. So I feel like Complexity just got a foothold in this game. They need to win a couple more team fights to really, like, get a grip and a firm grip on this game. And I think Navi still has some fighting room. I mean, Light of Heaven just finished the Relic, right? And that item, Radiance, as we know, could definitely turn around team fights and games. So I won't count Navi out just yet, just for the fact that they have rings. They are Navi.
They got rings.
They got
bro.
rings, bro. Yeah, they win
Kobe
tournaments.
Bryant's got rings. He's garbage. Looks like we're going to find Puppy maybe up here in the jungle, or is TC. TC's roaming around. He really wants to find somebody, as well as Jo here. And the combined initiation of TC and Jo is quite a bit. We've got a 4-staff, we've got double Jangos, we got double phases. Of course, the ridiculous 38 million range of Tornado. Tornado's range is like 3,200 or something. It is utterly insane.
I think it's 3,000 bit. I don't think that...
It's 3,200. So, anyway, we're going to have...
Is it?
I was going to do it daily on this, and then I just never did. Yeah, it's 3,200.
Oh,
That's insane. So, anyway, we're going to see a gathering of pusher Complexity. Now, going back to your previous point, I feel like Complexity aren't in any rush to push towers. That's why they haven't.
They got, like...
They've gone to TP to defend everything. I think they have... The fact that they're winning team fights right now, and they're going to be winning more of them as this game progresses, I really don't see it, man. I mean, Navi is very good, yes. They have a lot of highly skilled players, but there's no Xbox here right now, or host as it were, and there's also no their other player, Arzart. I just went blank for a second.
Well, they have Weaver. They have Weaver with the Relic. It's Light of Heaven on the Weaver.
I don't think Weaver with a Relic out DPS is a Tiny.
Well, in the heads-up fight, definitely not. But again, Tiny's melee, Weaver's range, and he has Sakuchi. All right. So I don't want to count them out yet. But
all right. I'll give it to you. They got a chance.
Here's the thing: IX Mike needs to be casting that Frost Armor like clockwork. Again, it always annoys me that Lich player doesn't. He is casting them now. Good to see. But you need every bit of armor against that Weaver because he will shred your heroes apart.
Looks like we're going to get a pause here real fast and Complexity now. Jo has got himself another 2.2k. I just see if he goes for an Ag Stick right now. He's got 1 point in Exhort. He's level 13. If he goes for an Ags, it would give him just infinite amount of casts. On the other side, as you mentioned, Weaver, getting that Relic, he's kind of their deal right now. Weaver is the target, or the target they need to take down. So if he goes for an Ultimate Orb into a Hex, that can be, infinitely more effective. I mean, if you remove the Weaver from the battle, once he gets that Radiance, then Navi is in very big trouble.
I'm a bigger fan of the Hex as well. Again, I mean, there's a nice Stalker on the enemy side, so you don't know, you can't really account for not getting silenced in a fight. In fact, he will try to silence you as best as he can. So having another dangerous item would be good. Again, Yield Scepter would not be bad. I mean, but in this case where you kind of have the late game lockdown, or it seems like it, I think going for the Ultimate Orb and into Axe, although a little bit more risky, is going to ultimately pay out a little bit more. So I'm a bigger fan of that item as well.
And if he picks the Ag Stick, he's basically inviting Night Stalker to say, hey, now you can do even more work against me. Because, you know, if you silence an Invoker, it's good. If you silence an Invoker with Ags, you've also silenced another 4.4k of his investment, thus making him even, his goal even more irrelevant.
He gets 200 HP from that Axe.
Holy smokes, man. It's a big-time item, big-time item. We got a point booster now on Tiny, speaking of Ags, and he's at 990. Ooh, 2k away. 2k away from a big old Tree Stick. I gotta say, Tree Stick, is that the greatest Ag Scepter in all of Dota?
It really is. I think we actually had a long time ago. We were
we need more old Ags like this, right?
We were making a random, because that was when Ag Sticks were kind of getting introduced, and
more of them, yeah.
Yeah, and we were like, oh man, and Ag Stick on Tiny didn't come out then. We're just like kind of pondering, like, oh man, they should make an Ag Stick on Tiny, and it would do this and this and this, and I think we were right, spot on.
Well, I think one of mine was he grows another time. He just gets enormous.
It's like a fifth level.
Half the screen. We're looking at like Megatron style, so he gets like the fifth level of size, and then you get a BKB after that, so you just become like a wall. I think that would have been sick. I mean, Doom already basically does that, to be fair. But yeah, I do think we mentioned something about him just like picking something up. But other Ag Sticks that I'm a big fan of, Pugna, my personal favorite actually. The ability to just constantly life drain is pretty sweet. You just stand there like. It's like, yeah, you're killing me, but I'm killing you. It's so good. I love that. But what about double black holes? You think Enigma could afford to have double black holes on a
one on each hand? It's just like
he's like channeling. Yeah, he's like.
Actually, would be like, really good. Actually,
you know how he pulses like that. Imagine if he's got hands out on both sides. He's like dancing. He's like, oh yeah, oh get some. Just like double black holes on both sides. That'd be sweet.
In terms of physics, I'm not sure even that's possible. But hey, I'm down.
I think if you have two black holes, they turn into one black hole.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So it's like maybe actually just makes your black hole like huge.
What if you have three of them in a perfect like equidistant in a triangle, like an equilateral triangle? What happens then? I want to know.
So what happens when the unstoppable force?
Whoa, calm down, calm down. That's ridiculous to ponder. At least my thought had made sense.
Okay, bro.
Yours is dumb. Anyway, flipping stuff. We do go ahead and have a read here as the game goes ahead and starts back up. Hannah Montana on bottom does have that Orchid, does have a Soul Ring, so even the Broodmother, who again had an impossible lane up top and got pretty well shut down by the Sentry Wards, is now level 15, getting relatively farmed, and in the next 10 to 15 minutes, she's going to have a lot of opportunity to push down towers, especially with his team potentially just fighting as much as they possibly can.
So we're just seeing a little bit of a precursor of the Tiny versus Weaver matchup. Tiny just walked up to him, avalanche toss, and be like, yo bro, you got about 30 seconds to think about how I'm gonna pwn you for the remainder of the game. And then Tiny continued to farm. As we see Broodmother surrounded by 4, he is detected and he's dead.
Yeah, Hannah's got no chance of surviving this. Of course, he did not rush a BKB, and even if he had, the ultimate from Dindy would have done the works there. Broodmother does go down, and that's what Navi needs to do. They need to go very aggressively on the Broodmother and just continue killing her. If they can maybe kill her, 4 or 5 times and get a little bit, fat, a little bit fatter, be pretty good. Oh, Weaver actually died in that engagement.
That's what I just said.
Well, I remember you talking about it, but I thought maybe he used his ultimate and got away.
No,
you said
bro.
Precursor. Oh, I see. So it's really just the beginning.
Yes.
Interesting.
Precursor. The beginning.
Precursor's not a beginning.
Oh,
Precursor's like a... No, it's a precursor.
It's
like,
the before the thing actually happens. Isn't that what?
But that was it happening. That was the beginning.
But before the team fight happens, there ain't no team fight. That was 1v1.
A precursor is like a prologue. That's like Act 1.
It all made sense to me.
Okay, well you can't even speak English. Anyway, Black and it has got himself a point booster. So it looks like maybe the Night Stalker wants to go for an Ag Stick as well. Interesting choice. Lots of Ags in this game. Dindy, we saw a lot of farm on the Honey Badger Shadow Demon here. Unfortunately, he's only managed to get a mecha off of it, so he has 4 staff and mecha. We haven't got to see a really fat Shadow Demon. I was kind of all for it. We've seen so many support Shadow Demons in the past week or two that I was really excited to see a big one. Maybe a Dagon 5. But step 3 is dubstep, by the way. So it would have been sick to see some beastly Dagon moves, but unfortunately that will not be the case. Radiance is done on Light of Heaven, by the way.
Perhaps this is the reason that we don't see farming Shadow Demon that much. Like, he's so good as a hero that he doesn't require farm. And eventually, if your team's doing well, he will get a 4-staff at the mid-game. And sure, now Denji's going to go for the mech, but it takes so much to get beyond the 4-staff at mech as a farm Shadow Demon. Because, sure, he's getting the solo mid-EXP, but you're not going to sit in lane and farm with him for the remainder of the game. He's such a good ganker that he leaves the lane and gank a lot as well. So what you're really getting for a solo mid Shadow Demon is those earlier ganks. And that's a fair plan.
I mean, you get some quick phases if you go on like heavy initiation or loud. But honestly, Shadow Demon doesn't have any issues with initiating. The range on disruption is really quite long considering the power of the spell. I mean, it's not super duper far, but it's pretty freaking far considering what it actually does.
Yeah, it really turns Shadow Demon to a hero that requires a secondary hero to help out the gang to a solo ganker, which is I mean, that's a tasty treat if you could make a solo ganker Shadow Demon. It's actually very strong.
Yeah, I mean, a very quick ultimate, a very quick amp damage increase is a lot of damage output. I mean, we always talk about how Shadow Demon is a single target hero that does ridiculous amounts of damage that also controls a battle. And honestly, I mean, it's really just about the XP because the farm, he doesn't really. Yeah. These items don't really do him much good. The 4-staff, yes, is very nice, but past that, the farm doesn't really do anything for him.
Well, TC has a sick, and he's gonna have an Aegis. How do you feel about this game, bro?
Well, I said about 10 minutes ago I thought Complexity had this easily, so I have not waned.
Yeah, I also thought Navi's gonna do a little bit more than farm for the 10 minutes, but they're like, no, bro, we farm.
Yeah, maybe they feel like they're going to be okay. Like, maybe they're not afraid of Tiny. Maybe they figure, well, if we remove Tiny from the battle, then what do you got? Well, you got a big fat Invoker is what you got, and you got a big fat Broodmother, and a pretty fat Enigma. Meanwhile, Black on bottom is going to get assassinated is the best word, or maybe just clubbed to death is a better way of putting that, as Tiny throwing out giant 315 damage swings. Just ridiculous.
And also, if Navi's plans is to remove Tiny, yes, there's alacrity on him. I didn't even think of this. Oh my god. That Wex is max. He's got plus, what, 80, 90, I think?
Yeah, plus max Wex is ridiculous.
Yeah, plus
that's 80% attack speed.
That's insane.
That's almost double damage.
Wisp is overcharge for anyone that watches Dota 1. That thing gives you plus 70, and that's, you know, but in any case.
Does more than that.
Yeah, alacrity is more than that. Pretty insane. Whole bunch of tiny illusion. Holy crap, this is like...
It's like a million.
It's like Lord of the Ring over here.
Trees. Well, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So it looks like maybe we're gonna have a siege on bottom now. Of course, they have a Broodmother, which means it's 4v5 on bottom, and Broodmother's just clicking that tier 2 in top. That is gonna go down. They're just gonna walk in here 4v5, and I don't think they're afraid of anything. Tiny should actually just be hitting as much as he can. He's not quite doing that, honestly. They're just kind of waiting this out. Broodmother gets that top tier 2. He's gonna start pressuring the tier 3 and probably gonna TC. No, they're actually gonna rotate. They're gonna go for middle now.
Not too sure why. I mean, you got an Aegis and a Tiny, right? You just go, and Broodmother's pressuring top. But this is how Complexity plays. Very methodical, not risky. They'll get what they can, which was a tier. I really think they just wanted a tier 2 top, and they got it.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And then they just gonna back off and farm more, and perhaps looking for a gank. Also, Black did get ganked earlier, so it was a momentary kind of 4v4 on the bot lane. We're fairly pushing top, so maybe they saw Black coming back alive. They're like, you know what? Let's not take any risk, because I mean they have a late game, right?
Yeah, Complexity not a team known for taking risks. I mean, this isn't a tower diving fiend team. Now, we do have an invisible Tiny. I've got some bad news for whichever of these two heroes gets caught. They will be insta-gibbed.
And he sees Crystal Maid and Mint. Obviously a tasty treat.
Ooh, nom nom nom. You gotta go right after the Crystal Maid, right?
Yep.
And look at her. She's just a frail little, oh, lass. Oh, wee little lass. What? Really? Sunstrike? Was that relevant? Did
just to make sure Tiny's 300 damage is not enough.
Just you gotta make sure that the Crystal Maid does. Honestly, I feel like that was maybe an attempted steal.
Yeah.
Not sure, but either way, I don't know how he expected Tiny to not just annihilate her. That wasn't even a perfect combo. The toss didn't go through the avalanche very well. That said, his attack damage is ridiculous. That tower goes down in 4 relatively easy hits. Hannah up top is going to pressure enough that kind of forces somebody to stay up there. Now, Nightstalker's the one staying there. He doesn't really have any chance of actually slowing this down.
Yeah, but he's the best hero to stand there.
Complexity's going to pull back.
Because he could, like, Nightstalker could easily turn on Knight and then cover that distance really quickly to the mid lane if he needs to do so. Hyperstone gets picked up, so we're seeing already, what, 190 attack speed? That's really low for Tiny, but plus 80. So we're looking at 270. That's actually respectable.
That's ridiculous. That's big time. Big time attacks. Now, 190 doesn't sound like a whole lot, but once you put the 80% on there, it's what, I don't know, some number. Here, I'll use a calculator.
190 plus, no, it's 80% is just plus 80. That's how attack speed works. So it's just 270.
Oh, okay, that's right.
It actually doesn't make much sense. It's like, oh my god, 80% boost? Wow.
It lists you. It lists you as it lists your attack speed as a percentage of what you're currently at, and obviously he gets mitigated a little bit and then increased by the hyperstone. So anyway, we're having a gathering here. I feel like Complexity can maybe go for this. They're being very patient. They still have an Aegis and buyback on TC. It's not like they're in any kind
Here
of
comes
bad
Navi.
state.
I mean, I'm still in the Navi camp, by the way.
Oh really?
Yes, I am. The experience is where it's at, and Hannah.
You're such a fanboy.
Apparently, I'm a fanboy for Navi and Complexity. So what now? Like, who am I not a fanboy of this game?
I love how anytime somebody does a cast and you like take a team's side, you're like, oh, this team's gonna win. They just immediately assume you're a fanboy. It's not like your expert opinion. We see a tornado and EMP combo. We're gonna see a push, a toss, Light of Heaven does manage to get his ultimate off, so that's a start. He's going to survive, but just Tiny just wailing on as much. Now, Shadow even double him out. We're going to see a nice Cyclone on Mouse from Black, who's going to go down. Fluffy's going to go down. Left Strike doing big damage. TC dies. Woo! Big time damage. Big time battle for Navi, and Jo maybe the next to follow. Now, Aegis is going to be used by TC. He can probably get away. He's actually going to... Is he going to go for it? Hannah Montana's still there. We're going to see an avalanche toss combo. Just slowing things down. Hannah wants to fight. TC's like, I don't want to fight. Hannah's like, let's fight. They come back and they're going to fight. Fluff himself shows up as well. He's got himself a black hole still. He's trying to use it. He can't actually get it off. Really, and he does manage to hit two. Puppy and Black will die to big cleaves here. Oh, Puppy and Black will die to big cleaves here. Puppy managed to get away. Black is going to get away as well. Dindy's going to come around and get the pull out. Light of Heaven comes back. He's going after Fluff himself. Fluff himself taking big damage. TC, meanwhile, goes after Black. He's finally going to get Black down, but it's going to cost him his life in return. Big battle for Navi.
Lumina's just being fanboy. It's not like,
Big fanboy.
Nobody's just being fanboy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wait, who won the team fight? Oh, it was Navi that won the team fight. Oh, because Weaver, if he survives the avalanche toss combo and he did with the time lapse, he's gonna rip you to shreds. What you got against him? Nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Did you see how much damage Light of Heaven did the whole fight?
Yeah, he
killed everybody.
Attacks. I mean, double damage. Every third attack or whatever with
Fourth
the radiance
attack
is obviously pretty hard. But the bigger story to me there is that there's no blink dagger on Enigma. He's got himself a 4-staff, so even if they have a good initiation, he can't get in there and hit a big black hole, which they really, at this point, I mean, a big black hole just ends the game. So, ooh, push. Light of Heaven taking a bunch of damage there. No ultimate.
I'm just saying, Navi won the big fight.
Sunstrike. Oh,
that was close. He didn't even have it max. I don't think he's gonna get the kill.
Right.
Yeah. So Light of Heaven after that team fight now gets a Lincoln Sphere. I really like this choice. I'm a big fan of late game Lincoln Sphere, especially on a very not sturdy hero like Weaver. I hope that he will go for BKB afterwards. Just make him like a mobile fortress that also shoots cannonballs. Like
a mobile fortress
that also shoots cannonball. That's legit, isn't it?
Isn't that a tank? Isn't that just a tank?
Well, that's a fast moving ass tank because that thing goes at 522. Tanks they go like 100.
It's a Ferrari tank, bro.
It's a Ferrari tank, yes.
Ferrari tanks. It's big time. It's the 458 Italia edition of the Panzer II.
That's sick.
In middle, we're gonna have maybe big knowledge right there for you. Anyway, in middle, we see some wards being placed as Complexity does not want to get caught out. I can't believe I'm saying this, but if Navi takes a fight, did they just win? Like, Light of Heaven is actually getting legitimately fat. I didn't actually think he would ever make it to this point. I thought Complexity were going to push in once they got that big advantage, but they have yet to do so.
Okay, it's for that 10-minute where TC is farming for his X-Stakes, where he's getting the Aegis. Like, Navi is too good of a team where, like, oh, we just not fight because we don't know how this game's going to work. They're like, I'm pretty sure they're confident, okay, we got a big Weaver. He is a late game carry. We're confident we're winning this game. And that's why I have not left them yet. And, well, they paid off.
It's usually wrong to question their tactics. I'll give you that much.
Yes.
I thought they were playing to their only out, honestly. I think it's much more likely that they weren't going to be able to win a fight, so they were just going to try and out-farm them, and it has worked out relatively well. Now, I thought Complexity, once they got that Ag Scepter, and once they had that Hyperstone and the Aegis, I thought they'd go a little more aggressively to try and get a Tier 3 tower. Send Broodmother just up top as aggressively as you can, and send the 4 in middle, maybe hit a nice black hole. on an Enigma, but they have not even attempted that.
This is perhaps one of the downside of complexity. We talked about how they don't take risks, they're very methodical, they'll get what they can the safe way. And sometimes the other team, Navi here in this case, just going to take advantage of that. So it's like, you know what? We believe we have the better late game carry, and you're going to take your time, we'll take our time as well, and we'll do get out late. Now, obviously, Navi don't like to play these type of game where late game situation, you make one mistake and you lose, but I'm not sure whether they could have stormed in the enemy base either. Those three tier 2...
TC may be caught up top here. They have knowledge that he is there. If we see a void prevent him from getting away, we're going to see a silence. TC is going to go down. Didn't use his ultimate. He's going to be a nice split earth. Big damage being come down off the back of that amp damage. Sunstrike's
He's got no buyback.
Do anything. There's no buyback on Tiny. Tier 2 on top is going to fall very quickly. There's still the outer tier 2s, but through all of this, Broodmother is going to push bottom. And I think this is a wise choice. We're going to force the TP back from, yep, Dindy's going to be forced back here. He's not the best anti-pusher. I mean, Spiderlings obviously take a decent amount of damage from the poison, which might just slow down. Nice positioning there from Dindy, managing to hit multiple stacks there.
Yeah, he's going to defend this. There's no way that Broodmother is going to put... Yep. Oh my god, look at all those smiling kills. Yeah, and of course, Denny's not the best pusher, so he could come back here, and his teammate's going to get the tier 2. I was pointing out before we saw TC getting ganked, all those tier 2 that's still standing, that's free go for Navi. Like, they could get it now, given that they have perhaps a stronger carry at this stage of the game. Tiny death for about 30 more seconds, and these team fights become increasingly more important as we are approaching that Roshan. It's going to be back in just a minute or so. And right now, Dendy trying his best to push out the bot lane. They want that Aegis. And if they do get that Aegis on the Weaver, I think that's really GG.
You want to see a story of this game? Go to the XP bar right now.
Okay.
Look at that line.
Woo!
Is that chaotic or what? We plummeted to a over 14,000 advantage for Dire. Complexity had a 14k XP advantage, and now they're right back to 0. That is really impressive.
And that was before the big team fight that happened, right?
The big team fight, yeah.
They start getting a lot of XP after they lost a couple ganks. That's unreal. I mean, we saw a little bit of that, right? Crystal Maiden was farming mid, right? I think that's just an indication of let's just get a whole bunch of EXP. They were actually split farming for quite a bit. And sure, they lost Crystal Maiden, they lost Black here and there, but the overall ending result was that team fight afterwards where they just even it up, and now they're actually pulling slightly ahead.
Yeah, the gold is a little bit still in Complexity's favor, but I mean,
again, those are the tier 2s. The tier 2s are still...
4K gold at this point in the game is just really not relevant, and that is, as you're right, entirely on those 2 tier 2s. So when those go down, this game's going to be relatively even. And actually, not Virtus Pro, I keep looking at heroes and calling their tags. We need to have the stand-ins. It needs to say stand-in dot. But anyway, Light of Heaven on bottom's got himself a bite booster. Going to go for a heart. He's at 2.7k. When he gets a heart, he will not be dying to TC's combo at any point. They're going to have to like chain stun him for that to work.
Ooh, he's got a Yasha now.
And ooh, he bought a Yasha.
Interesting. The attack speed, you don't really need it. The armor is quite relevant. I mean, it's only plus like 2, but still, any armor against a Tiny is fine. The
Moose, it doesn't matter either.
Yeah,
it's entirely for.
I guess he just wants Manta.
Yeah, it's entirely just for the Manta.
And the reason I think he's gonna get the Manta is the Malefice is so annoying. Like it's a stun that's not gonna accomplish too much, other than the fact that it makes him immobile for, you know, whatever X amount of seconds. Which he is a DPS dealer in Steam, so if he's getting it for that, that's relevant. But he has a Lincolns already, so I'm like, somewhat questioning this.
I think it's just a little bit of pushing potential. I mean, Manta style is pretty good. Dealing a lot of damage to towers. Obviously, you get 2 more illusions. It's a relatively, I think it's a pretty powerful item. That's not
over
a bad
heart though. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I
do think he should have got a heart, especially since he has the Lincoln Sphere. I mean, maybe he just wants more damage.
Or
maybe
is
he's
it because he has Lincoln Sphere? Yeah, I don't need heart.
That's possible. We're going to see an initiation on Black here. Oh, Tornado misses again as Jo having a little bit of problems hitting tornadoes in this
Light of
game.
Heaven. What the hell is he doing?
Light of Heaven's in a bad spot. They know he's there. Trees are going to get cut down. There's no vision. They know where he's running, though. How does nobody on Complexity have a dust or a ward? There is a...
Oh, there's a ward.
There is the ward.
But he just ran like hours ago. I don't think Navi should take the fight. They don't have time lapse for 30 seconds, but despite that, he's going right at it. He has a Lincoln. He thinks the Lincoln will be enough. Let's see. As we have everyone on full retreat, Axmite losing HP very rapidly. Life have not going to chase him. They got the bot tier 2. They're looking to take the mid tier 2 as well, and suddenly that 4 point whatever K advantage that Complexity had, it would be not anymore. Here comes TC. Avalanche. Just to slow everyone down. The high ground here being claimed by Navi. Tier 2 being pushed out on the mid lane. TC being defending that. Hannah taking a lot of damage. Life having just run across that ice while don't give a crap. He's the real honey badger here.
Yeah, max move speed is max move speed no matter how much reduction. Okay, I got an 80% reduction on max. Okay, well, it's still max.
Yes.
So, infinity is infinity. So we do have Assault Curse is obviously completed on Tiny. He's at 2.5k. I still think if Complexity gets a big black hole, they can win this game. I mean, it literally just gives them so much ability to just wail forever, but still, no Blink Dagger on Enigma. He's got 2.8k. He's opted to just try and initiate on the back of a 4-staff.
Don't forget the toss black hole.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a little bit harder to position, though, and it's going to be more difficult for him to catch all of the stunners that he needs to catch. He actually has to catch just about everybody in it. They do go ahead and walk in here. Looks like they immediately assassinate Puppy. We're going to see a BKB being used from Hannah Montana. They're going to run after Iness's Leshrac. Leshrac does go down. Nice ultimate from Lynch, bouncing back and forth here, doing so much damage. Dindy is going to get caught. No, he's going to be able to get away here as the 4-staff phases Yule combo is going to be a little bit too much for them. They're going to go after Light of Heaven instead. If they get Light of Heaven, this would be the big prize. Lincoln Sphere does proc there as it cancels the stun from Fluff and stuff, and I believe Light of Heaven is going to get away. In fact, they're going to go ahead and turn around and want to get a killer. He's going to take down Fluff for sure. Black, meanwhile, he's getting, he's going to get away as well. TC really would like to get Light, but there's really no chance here. Jail comes around the backside. Looks like just, canceling Dindy and Black a little bit for them to get it back. And TC in a bit of a bad spot here. Hannah Montana standing in the middle. He's going to go ahead and just toss Dindy and gets immediately nuked. Dindy manages to survive with 40 HP. Those illusions come out and start doing a bit of damage as they obviously have the Ag Scepter as well. And yeah, it looks like another win here for Navi.
There is no answer for this Light of Heaven. My mouse is on him the whole fight, and he's just running around. The black hole whiffs. TC's going to get brought down. Light of Heaven not going to chase in. He's going to go for the save kill. Fluffbot back in that engagement, so he's stunned. Jo running away. He does not have a Ghost Walk anymore. He used it in the engagement and it has a long cooldown. He is going to go down. Light of Heaven is carrying his team hardcore. Fluff and stuff gets purged up on the high ground. He is going to die to purge Light of Heaven, trying his best to get that chaos off. He's not going to get it. Navi wins the fight right outside the enemy base. They are going to go for the high ground. Rax is going to be there. And Navi fanboy was correct.
Indeed he was. We're going to see a tosser from TC just trying to get Light of Heaven, but he just doesn't do enough damage. And I really think their decision in the later mid game where they just decided to never push, despite having a pretty solid advantage. I mean, 14k XP advantage, and they didn't try and go into the base. I think that was a pretty big mistake on their part.
Well, I could only agree with you there, but I can't even do that because I'm a Complexity fanboy as well. BKB pops on Hannah Montana. He's going to get the right click here. We have a Yule Scepter into a Gold Scepter by Honey Badger, but he's going to get assassinated by the toss. I gotta say, Navi should really focus. No, Light of Heaven gets silenced. He's going to go down. Puppy runs and gets one cleaved up. This game's not over yet, guys. We're seeing Navi does have the lead, but Complexity did finally kill Weaver. He bites back. Tower gets destroyed here. Roshan is up. And Dire has the Roshan advantage. 2 big creep wave, 1 on top, 1 on bottom, pushing in against Navi. So they gotta deal with something here. And if you're Complexity, you storm into that Roche pit.
What's the story I always like to say? If you win the early game against Navi, you get a game. If you lose the early game against Navi, the game's over. Yes. So Complexity actually won the early game, so we're actually getting a game. This is fantastic. 26-23 now. Navi does get that tier 3 on the back of that siege unit just wailing. The siege unit just attacked the tower for a solid, 4 or 5 minutes there. Didn't do anything but just hitting it, so it wasn't really that long. But that said, they do get it down. They're going to go for Roshan here. There is Jo's. Yeah, I think they're probably going to go get this.
Yeah, they're going to get. Look at the army of Eidolon Spiralings. They're going right in here, and in the entire Navi squad, they want to come in here as well, but it's just not that safe. And I really want to close my window because the lawnmower is going on outside, but there's a team fight breaking out. EMP Tornado slowing everyone down. Roshan losing HP is 2,000, 1,800, 1,300. It's going to go down. Question is, who's going to be picking that? This looks like TC got the Aegis. We have the Chain Frost bouncing left and right. Where's the Weaver? Weaver on the back line things, waiting for the Orchid to be used, waiting for the stun to be used, and he's going to come in. Looks like there's a Disrupt on TC. The toss here against Henley Badger. He barely survives. Looks like Fluff and Stuff. He's going to go down to the Manta, already doing quite a bit of damage. Ix Mike's going to be next. Avalanche toss on the Weaver. He's going to time lapse. No more time lapse for a long time here. Looks like the Lich has went down. Hannah Montana is going to be going down as well. Light of Evans doing the carry. He's got a double. Crystal Maiden doing some slow. Black's losing HP very rapidly. He's going to grab the DD room. He's going to eat the Sunstrike. No, it barely misses. And now Weaver's on the chase. Avalanche is going to bring down Black. We do have a lot of spell being dropped in Invoker, but it seems like this is fairly even exchange, but teamfight is not over just yet. Jo is going to just win walk out or ghost walk out. Tiny's coming back in. He's going to turn around and go for the win. And go for the kill, and looks like it's not, and I'm going to close my window.
What a chaotic team battle. That was awesome. Like, again, we see no black hole being hit, as Enigma has basically been a non-factor this entire game. We're looking at the 48-minute mark. I've seen one black hole actually cast, and none of them were really that effective. There's the one that caught the 2 heroes up in the middle lane, but that didn't even kill him, as I believe Puppy got away on the back of that. So black hole not really done much of anything for them this game.
Nope.
As a BK Blee is now complete on TC.
But it's so hard to catch a black hole on a team that has a Night Stalker, so the silence and the movement speed. There's a 4-staff, Yule Scepter on ST, and there's Light of Heaven. So, like, you really, if you could get 2 in the black hole, you should be happy. And I don't really fault Fluff and stuff for not getting
if
that
you
many.
can get Light of Heaven and Shadow Demon, or not Light of Heaven, if you can get Weaver and Shadow Demon in the same black hole, you got to do it.
Yep.
Like, that's the black hole you got to look for. Force and S to silence your Enigma. That's fine. Now, the last battle, you mentioned that he was waiting for the silence to be used. It actually got used while they were going for the Roshan. They were trying to keep him from Sakuchiing down there to get the Aegis. And in doing so, they eliminated their ability to actually kill him, as they really only have the Orc right now to do that.
And, I mean, who came out ahead in that team fight? Aegis was preserved on the Tiny, but Tiny and Invoker was the only one alive. I think Navi lost a good bulk of their team, but Light of Heaven got like 3 or 4 kills. 3 kills, I think, in that engagement. He's up to 3,300 gold. He has a Viv booster. I assume he's going to be going for heart after this. The Mantle was actually quite big a deal in that engagement, as it did a lot more damage output than I imagined. Like, the plus damage from the Radiance doesn't pass through. The Manta, the Radiance burn damage doesn't stack either. So on paper, it's not that good of an item. But Light of Heaven made it work. I mean, against a Lich, any item that you're going to get is effective. And of course, when he's Sakuching around, those illusions are still attacking. So it's just extra damage. And he's going to get a heart on top of that.
I mean, it does 28% of your base damage for each illusion, so that's 56% of your base damage added, basically. And on top of that, of course, there are illusions that people will attack.
Yes.
Sometimes you do save yourself a little bit of HP there. So they are pretty good now. We're seeing a gathering.
Sorry. The biggest reason he's got it is for the Orchid. I feel like that was an important point that we're missing.
Oh yeah, obviously he wants to dodge the Orchid silence.
So
yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell we're talking about? Oh,
kind of dumb for never saying
yes.
It's like entirely the reason he bought it.
Yes.
All right. Well, anyway.
Oh, at least we caught it. At least we caught it.
Hey, yeah, at least you did. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes you forget completely. Anyway, up top we have Complexity. Hannah Montana just going to go ahead and mass a bunch of Spiderlings up, and man, Complexity. They're just going to try and bide their time here. We have a gem now purchased on Enigma, as they want to have vision of that Weaver when he does use Sakuchi, and still still not quite level 3.
Is that the correct person to have it on? Fluff always gets assassinated.
Fluff has been dying every single battle, so probably not. But there's not a whole lot of other options. Dindy does go ahead and grab. Looks like Fluff here. Fluff immediately forces himself away. There's a jail on the backside to keep him from just instantly dying. We see a meteor being dropped. It's really more of a preemptive meteor than anything, as well as the EMP, a bit more preemptive than anything. It's just trying to prevent them from actually getting there. Meanwhile, Light of Heaven can just run right through that wall. No problem. We're going to see a initiation. Cancels the link. It's where they do have vision of him. There's going to get a stun. Black gets up there. If we can hit a black hole here for Complexity, they might be okay. But Navi doing so much damage. Light of Heaven taking a lot. Light of Heaven does go down. That's big time. Ultimate from Lich goes bouncing around about 1,000,000 times. We see a tornado from Jo catching the Crystal Maiden in while taking a bunch of damage. He gets blown up by the Spiderlings. Puppy is going to fall as well, leaving just the Shadow Demon and Black's Night Stalker. He gets Ice Walled. Well played there from Jo, and down he will go. And just like that, this game perhaps back in Complexity's favor?
I think so. Weaver died. He was forced to buy back. If you're Complexity, I think you storm down mid and try to take a team fight there, but it's close. I'm not sure how Light of Heaven got caught by the Orchid and didn't have Manta Style. Perhaps he used it already. I think that's more towards Light of Heaven's mistake. And because he was removed that team fight, like, there's really no TPS on Navi squad. All the Navi team fight comes in the fact that they try to slow kite around and wait for Light of Heaven to slowly assassinate everything. And Light of Heaven now has support back. He's going to sell his cloak and defend mid by himself. The question is, he doesn't have the backup to slow. Like, he might do a lot of damage, but he needs his team to actually kite and do all that stuff. He's going to port back right now, I think. Is he going to really port back? Finally, he ports back.
TC is just going to kill this in about 4 hits.
Yep.
There's just really no way. I mean, Axe Tiny really does ridiculous amounts of damage to a tower. They go ahead and take the tower. They take the melee racks. Light of Heaven, of course. Jail, I don't know if he realizes Ice Wall does absolutely nothing against Sakuchi. Like, he can just run straight.
I mean, if Weaver runs in by himself, he's not going to get backup.
That's fair.
Because the other guys definitely don't have, max movement speed. So, I mean, it's still a fair skill. It doesn't shut down the best hero, but it shuts down his supporting cast, which sometimes might be just as good.
Yeah, I want to point out that actually Axic has been completed on Invoker as well, so he has a Force Staff and a Yule Scepter along with that Ag Scepter, so he's throwing out big amounts of caster. He's got maximum Exhort now, so Sunstrikes, Meteors, Forge Spirits, they're all doing big-time damage. Of course, Disrupting Blast as well, or Deafening Blast, rather. Also thrown out, about, what, 280 damage, I believe, is what it's when it's maxed. 280 damage, so... he's got a bunch of AoE damage. It's not, it's not TC damage, obviously. His TC is currently sitting on 380 cleaving, hammer time damage. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, not counting in the minus armor, so that gets a little bit more amplified. Question is, Navi's down with Rax right now. Does that matter?
No, honestly, I don't think they're too worried about that. Yeah, there is going to be some pressuring on that middle lane, but they haven't really had any kinds of problems taking down creep waves. Now, they're not the most anti-pushing team, but there's so much damage output on heroes on the Navi side that I don't think they're really worried about it.
Crystal Maiden has a Heaven's Halberd.
Crystal Maiden has a Heaven's Halberd. That is awesome. This item is so good. I really don't think this
actually shuts down Tiny and Brood.
I don't know why this item doesn't get more play. I mean, it disarms somebody for 4 seconds. It's essentially a anti-carry item. It's so strong. Like,
for all the lulls and whatnot, I'm a big fan of Sage. It gives you more HP than Vanguard, and for that alone, it's reason enough to get it on certain heroes. And now, look at Crystal Maiden. She's sitting at 1700 HP. For a Crystal Maiden, that's legitimate. And of course, you get disarm on top of that. 25 damage, 20 strength. Obviously, you also get the evasion, so 25% evasion on top of that's 1600 HP or whatever it is. It's a lot. I mean, it's really a lot of survivability. So Puppy is not she's not a frail little maiden anymore. She's getting kind of butch. And of course, the mid wave is slowly pushing in. This is. I really don't know who has the card on the table right now. Like who is calling the shots. It feels like neither team is. Maybe both team is just waiting for the other team to make the mistake, and if on theory that favors Navi a little bit more, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, we're 56 minutes in, and there's no clear-cut advantage, which is when you get.
Well, there's a Rax, but that does to me, I don't think that means too much.
Well, it's a little bit of an advantage. It's not a hugely. Obviously, this team is now winning, and they can just go win in the game. And that's when you get this kind of game where there's we're probably going to have 5 to 10 minutes of stalling now, as both teams try and wait patiently for the other team to make a mistake, and so neither team's going to do so. And the first team to actually mess up is going to be the one that loses. Now, one of these teams is going to get favored here. One team wants to have more items. The question is, who is it? You said you thought maybe Navi.
Obviously, I think it's Navi. Because
Weaver's getting close to full. I mean, he can make BOTs out of those boots, and he's got one more item spot. Black, meanwhile, is what he can maybe finish an Assault Cuirass. Is that going to be his plan here? And he obviously could turn into a Vanguard into a Heart or a Satanic or something crazy like that. Obviously, Puppy can buy plenty of things. On the complexity side, Fluff and Stuff can still get a Blink Dagger. Hannah Montana, she's got a couple spots. She can actually get quite a bit of number of things. And TC is running out of places. He's got literally. He's bought himself a Crystallis. That's going to take the place of that Aegis when he loses that. But past that, what, BOT's next, and that's about it?
I mean, he still wants a phase, because he... Oh, actually, yeah. I guess BOT in conjunction with your Manta gives you so much movement speed anyway, so that you can get rid of phase. So that's fair. But right now, it is all going to come down to this Roshan fight, as the clock tells us. It is going to be there soon. And Weaver is very, very far away. No, that was just his illusion. He is in the middle.
Yeah, but TC did pick up a double damage rune here, so, I mean, that is ridiculous amounts of damage.
Oh my god. I almost want to see him to have that Chrysalis.
Yeah, just crit for 9,000, just cut everybody down like Kunkka style. Look at, this is a level 3 Roshan, and TC's just like, ugh, down, 25, just killing him in no time. We're going to see Black go ahead and dive in here. The poor choice.
Black gets the Aegis. May not be the poor choice. He might die right now. BKB is being used. Weaver gets he gets Avalanche Toss. He gets double damage. Black hole does hit. That one black hole that you talked about, that's going to be right there. TC it does get remove the Aegis on the Night Stalker. Night Stalker comes back alive, but won't stay alive for a long time. Complexly wins a huge fight, and they're going to go straight down the mid lane. They don't care about Raxes. They're going to get their own, and Puppy realized he calls a GG. Holy crap, that double damage was the luckiest rune for complexity.
Yeah, TC, I mean, we made a joke. Well, I don't remember what game we were playing. I'm not sure if you were in the game. What was our strategy? And our strategy was
No, I was in that game.
Yeah,
Shout out to
patiently
gods.
for a double damage rune, and it ended up working out. We just waited patiently for Tiny to get DD, and that's how we won. And that's exactly what we see Complexity doing here, which is just wait it out, get a DD on Tiny, and then proceed to kill
I'm not sure
everything.
if that was part of the plan, but they were so lucky to get it right when the Roche fight happens. Oh my god.
Top tower is
Yeah, when you make an attack speed Tiny and you find a double damage rune, the game is going to be pretty much over. It's a plus 336 rune.
Yes.
That is just better than a
No,
rapier.
and you were right. If we hit a black hole, we're gonna win the game. And
Yeah.
you called it. The
Plus
black
the-
hole was on the most important hero, the Weaver. He was silenced. He was black hole, and of course TCV with the DD made it very short work of it. But,
I do want to mention real fast, anytime a caster like me or you says we're taking the perspective or view of that team. We're not Complexity. We're not rooting for Complexity, obviously. We're not big fans.
Oh no, I'm a big fanboy.
Oh, I'm a big fanboy.
And of Navi and Complexity, obviously.
But the point is, when we say we're looking at their point of view and trying to interpret it for you guys. So, anyway, game one taken by Complexity in fantastic fashion, actually. This was a spectacular game, so we're going to go into game two pretty quickly.
Yes, we will. Hope you guys enjoy that cast. We'll be coming back with game two. Don't go anywhere, guys. And for now, this is Luminous and Nebula signing out.